welcome to New Heights with Vikas. हामी चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ Slush 2025 को podcast studioमा छौँ, and I've got with me two amazing founders, two amazing role models for the Nepalese startup ecosystem. I've got Barun and I've got Aashish. So let's have a small discussion on what they are building overall, in terms of their building mechanics. Apart from that, why they are attending Slush, होइन, अनि त्यसपछि what are they planning to get out of Slush, and then त्यसपछि चाहिँ at the end we're gonna wrap it up saying what next भनेर चाहिँ अलिकति फ्युचरिस्टिकको कुरा अब अलिकति what are they trying to achieve in the future भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ we'll discuss a bit. But let's start firstमा चाहिँ in terms of a bit of intro. Let's start with Barun.
Thanks, Vikas. It's great to be here in Slush again after I think few years. So मेरो नाम चाहिँ Barun. I have been entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur since 2015. त्योभन्दा अगाडि पनि सानो अनसक्सेसफुल रेस्टुरेन्ट बिजनेस पनि थियो 2011 तिर. तर मेरो ट्रु एन्टरप्रेन्योरसिप जर्नी अर लर्निङ चाहिँ मलाई यो स्टार्टअप एक्सलेटर प्रोग्राम, स्टुडेन्ट स्टार्टअप एक्सलेटर प्रोग्राम तुर्कुमा चाहिँ बुस्ट तुर्कु भन्नेबाट चाहिँ मलाई ट्रु एन्टरप्रेन्योरसिप लर्निङ चाहिँ त्यहाँबाट भयो. अभियसली एज अ बिजनेस चलाउँदाखेरि तलमाथि हुने त्यस्तो खालको लर्निङ चाहिँ त्यो होइन रेस्टुरेन्टमा पनि भएको हो. तर जुन स्केलेबिलिटीको कुराहरूदेखि लिएर होइन अपर्च्युनिटिजको कुराहरू, नेटवर्किङको कुराहरू, एक्सेसिबिलिटीको कुराहरू, त्यो पार्ट चाहिँ मलाई नेटवर्किङ स्टार्टअप एक्सलेटर प्रोग्राम बाट चाहिँ भयो. अनि द्याट्स वेयर आई रियलाइज कि लाइक entrepreneurship is also about networking, meeting people, being open to actually meet people, discuss with them your ideas and listen to their ideas and learn a lot. So त्यसपछि नै अनि मैले लगत्तै स्लसमा आउन थालेँ. अनि सुरुमा चाहिँ एक्सलेटर यो बुस्ट तुर्कुबाट आयो.
Okay.
Yes, I was also the board member in बुस्ट तुर्कु.
And just to say a bit more, sorry, Barun कुरा काटिहालेँ.
Yeah.
Of course, Slushमा in Slush, they are promoting and supporting the ecosystem overall so much, होइन, किनभने स्टुडेन्ट अर्गनाइजेसन मात्र होइन कि there are so many different organizations as ecosystem भनौँ न players भनेर चाहिँ, so that they can promote entrepreneurship, so that they can promote, for example, होइन, future founders, होइन, and Boost Turku is one of them.
Yes, in Turku.
Exactly.
So त्यस्तै गरी I think यहाँ हेलसिङ्कीमा त धेरै नै छ, and I think there is a lot of help out there.
Yes.
If you want one. So बाहिर गएर नेटवर्किङ गर्नु चाहिँ धेरै नै इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ. अनि सो अहिले फिनल्यान्डमा स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम चाहिँ एकदमै बजिङ फेजमा छ. एन्ड देन देयर हेभ बिन फ्यु गुड कम्पनीज होइन which has been acquired by big tech from US and so on. So not just Silo AI but also other game startups, and then Hostaway and so on. So many companies who have been acquired for hundreds of millions of euros. So अहिले capital पनि छ marketमा. You just need to have right kind of let's say team. You're fixing why. अनि चाहिँ त्यो why is big enough for investors to come in. So idea स्टेजमै पनि इन्भेस्ट गर्ने धेरै इन्भेस्टरहरू छ. And to be I was really surprised actually this time. So amount of investor access we had actually in Slush. I think almost एउटा स्टार्टअपको लागि 2टा इन्भेस्टर जस्तो थियो कि. So and you could just walk in. I had no meetings scheduled for investor because I wasn't looking for investments. But I just decided I just want to go and check, even though I'm not raising, I just want to go and check how do they feel about my startup, like my project and so on. Exactly. So I just wanted to check with investors and just to chat with them, right? So and I met investors from Japan. They were like, okay, why don't we get this product in Japan? This sounds amazing. So and then I met investors from Portugal and so on. So I just walked into the investor meeting area. I had no meeting schedule with anybody, but there were investors walking around. Probably they had like few minutes here and there. So I just stopped them and I say, okay, hey, I have this something Do you have 5 minutes of your time?
Mm.
And but like that, I spoke to I think around 6 or 7 investors within 30 minutes of time.
Aye. Mm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think it's really showing yourself a sort of this character
Yeah.
of wanting to build something, wanting to solve something. I think that's really really important.
Barun, shortly, if you could tell a bit more before I jump in
Yeah.
to Aashish, if you could tell a bit more about what you're building at the moment, resume, or
Yes.
and then maybe like a product that you are about to launch soon. If you could
Yes.
very shortly tell about
Sure,
that.
sure. So दुईटा भर्टिकलमा मैले काम गरेर हो सो जुन मैले अगाडि भने 10 इयर्सदेखि होइन एन्टरप्रेन्योरसिपमा छु भनेर त्यो चाहिँ सफ्टवेयर कन्सल्टिङबाट सुरु भयो हो आई बिल्ड द्याट कम्पनी फ्रम ग्राउन्ड अप एन्ड लास्ट 3 years वी हेभ बिन डुइङ अराउन्ड $1 million इन रेभेन्यू
Yeah.
सो हाम्रो टेक टिम चाहिँ नेपालमै हुनुहुन्छ सुरुदेखि नै उतैतिर हायर भयो सो त्यो चाहिँ सर्भिस कन्सल्टिङ साइड भयो प्रडक्ट साइडमा चाहिँ हामीले एआई फर्स्ट पिओएस सोल्युसन फोकस टु मोबाइल फुड भेन्डर्स
And if you could tell
and
what POS means.
yeah, point of sale
Yes.
solution for restaurants.
Yeah.
So AI first point of sale solution, hardware agnostic solution for restaurants and SMB restaurants in the US and mobile food vendors. So we are our total accessible market size in the US alone is around 1 million. And then we will be scaling to service industry as well, like beauty parlors and so on. So our posts will also take in like bookings and so yeah. So that's what we have been.
Wonderful. And I think just to follow up on that, Barun, and I think when you see all the founders and investors and the whole really really buzzing ecosystem, and especially Slush, saying, I think you get a lot of motivation and to really build it to really
Yeah.
make it like successful.
Definitely. I think when you talk to founders and then when you pitch your idea to them, they also tell you, especially the ones who have been raising money, they can tell you what your pitch should look like.
Yes.
Actually, they will immediately listen to you and they will probably give you advice on, hey, your product is solving this kind of problem. Maybe you need to pitch this your idea this way to the investors because investors are looking this metrics. So I think these kind of insights are something you only get when you meet to people, talk to them. And I think there is no other place than Slush to meet so many founders and investors in one place.
Wonderful. Now, next up, Aashish, if you could tell a bit more about what you're building, and then of course you've been in quantum for quite many years, and been as a teaching assistant to the profession, to creating and having papers and PhDs and everything. So you've done quite many things in terms of this industry. But I would love to know a bit more on what you're currently working on.
Thank you, because they once more provided me the opportunity to talk about myself here. So currently I'm finalizing my PhD.
If you could,
currently I'm finalizing my PhD in quantum computing. Writing up my thesis. Hope to graduate by January next year. In terms of building a company, we are not a company yet. We're still a research to business project, jointly funded by Business Finland and Aalto University. We got secured about $700K last year to develop input-output stack for quantum computers. So current quantum computers are nowhere near where you can really exploit for practical applications. And to get to that stage, you really have to solve this I/O bottleneck. So that's the idea we came up with, pitched to Business Finland. They liked the idea and we got the funding. Now we have 6 months left and we are pitching our company, our technology to raise funding, of course. And also to find customers. At places like this, you meet all kind of people, not just investor. Of course, that's the first one.
Early adopters.
Early adopters
which is
to
very,
run
very
pilots
important.
with.
Exactly, which for especially when you have the business like a funding, you need to show the traction.
Right.
And,
Exactly.
even for the investors, I mean, you need to show the traction first. Early pilot customers. Then they will say, okay, you have this many customers or this many people who have said, or companies that have said, okay, we'll take your product if it goes X to Y, right?
So I come from academic background. I have spent a year or so building an AI SaaS company with my friends, but was not so much involved into pitching, talking to customers, was just building AI algorithms back then. But now I'm taking more of a business developer role. So initially, I thought pitching is just for investors, right? But you have pitching for customers, for potential employees, ecosystem. Every conversation you have is sort of a pitching.
You're selling it.
Yeah, you're selling it. And right now, my whole idea is to first, of course, secure funding so that we can pursue this. And yesterday, we had a booth around all the university.
Yeah.
We met one quantum companies from Barcelona, and they came up to us and they told us, yeah, this is the technology we're looking for. And they said that please reach out to us so we can run some paid pilots together.
Wonderful.
And that can give us a letter of intent so we can already talk to investors, which then will help us in raising. And this is my first time at Slush.
Okay.
Of course, I've been to Nordeep that you
Yeah.
organized, and that's where we found our first two investors. And we have already gotten some soft commitment from
Okay.
them.
Wonderful.
One from Denmark. They were very eager to meet us. They were present at Nordeep, and then we shared our pitch deck to them, and they
Okay.
talked to their local quantum initiative ecosystem, and they told them that, okay, this technology is very nice. And then immediately they emailed us, said that let's meet at Slush. Let's go through the funding plan. So they're not going to lead the round, but they're going to co-lead as long as
Yeah.
we find Finnish investors. So this is now what I'm going to do for the next 6 months: raise some money and then start the company. Yeah, didn't come here looking for much. Just we are still a part of all the startup center,
Yeah.
and as a part of that community, we were selected to present our demo there.
Yeah.
So presented the demo yesterday, talked to investors, talked to different customers
Yeah.
and ecosystem.
Wonderful. I mean, I think also like I mentioned, like for many of the companies, not everybody is looking for funding, right?
Exactly,
Not
yeah,
everybody is coming here to kind of like have the pilots done, or let's say
Right.
like Barun, you also mentioned that you're not looking for funding. You're just, casually chatting with people, and you never know where the conversation leads.
Yep.
Just to tell to everyone watching, yesterday we had a very good conversation with Stripe that
Yeah.
Barun has been talking with, and then of course Stripe is one of the most important partner, at least especially the industry Barun is working on. I mean, creating that relationship, right? It takes time to build
Yeah.
that. It takes time to build the process, especially so on funding goes on, especially customer or investor, whatever it is. You need to create a certain, spend a bit of a time, especially Finland, but you had to. There's so much kind of like the need for the trust.
Yeah.
So for that, either you need to show very big traction, very amazing traction, or you need to have a slowly building a relationship with them so that they can, they might not lead the round, but they can definitely be part of it. त्यसको लागि, and especially and again going back to us, especially quantum computing is now heating up. And AI quantum computing. I just wanted to sort of like also ask a bit more in terms of research to business. Of course, like all this VTT, Aalto University, and they always have this research to business. I was just attending yesterday a deep tech event, and then they said, I think this is something I also mentioned, Barun, that startups or projects might, they have a certain traction, they have a certain way of like how fast they want to go, but sometimes the university or they have so much bureaucracy, so much paperwork, sometimes they might not make the cut. What is the situation as is in your case?
You hit the nail here. So whenever we discuss with partners to develop something together, you have to sign this NDA, and usually it takes almost 3-4 weeks, in some cases 2 months, to get that NDA signed. And the project is for 2 years, and if you lose 2 months in just getting the NDA signed, when will you develop something? And also there is like a certain rule on how much you can spend on research, how much can you spend on commercialization.
Okay.
Yeah, so 60-40 is the rule that Business Finland has set.
Okay.
And deep tech is really resource extensive, so you have to pay a lot of money just to entertain the partners to develop something together.
It takes a lot of time.
So I think that was the major, and then this researcher mindset is like, okay, I'll get to it next week, right? It's gonna kill you with that mentality. So I had come across the startup mindset in my previous company, so you have to do things with quite a fast speed, right? It's there's so many things you can fail at, so better fail early so you can adapt. So that getting across the team was a bit harder. In first 6 months, we barely had anything.
Right.
At least my co-founder or a tech developer, he understood it immediately. Currently, he's setting up Aalto's first quantum computer.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he knows all the ins and outs. So we too, at least compared to other research to business cases, we have this weekly meeting where we talk about our progress.
Okay.
We were doing much better. But it takes a while. I think you just have to help your team to understand exactly what's at stake, and then just support them without getting angry, which is what you tend to become in the early days, and people understand eventually.
Yeah, great. So since we're running out of time, I'm just gonna ask one last question to both of you. Like, what next after Slush? Of course, you meet people like Barun. You mentioned you met already, like a few investors already on the when you're waiting outside. What next after this? What are your plans, upcoming plans for the next few months?
Yeah, I think after this loss, it's gonna be a small reset. Going back to what you have been doing, the grinding continues, right?
It continues.
But then again, you wanna sort of make a list of takeaways from these 2 days, and then see where you can fit in those takeaways into your grinding machine.
Wonderful.
So I think that's what I'm going to be doing next. I would say 2 weeks. I think, and then I'll try to make a follow-up notes,
Yeah.
with potential investors or partners that I have identified, which could be helpful in many different ways. So yeah, that will be the next step. Yeah, I
Wonderful.
think.
And very best of luck, Barun,
Thank you so
on
much.
that. I know that you have been grinding for so many years, and
Yeah.
I only wish all the best. Both
Thanks
for
a
the
lot.
product
Thanks,
in
Vikas.
Finland, and also when you are going to the States.
That's gonna be very
Exactly.
interesting,
That's
actually.
going to be very interesting, and looking forward to look for you, kind of like follow the journey on that one.
Thanks.
Let's move on to Aashish. What next?
Yeah, I like to.
You mentioned 6 months, right?
Yes,
remaining.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to reiterate what Barun said. We feel really comfortable, safe building the technology, and let that speak for our future
Yeah.
rather than us pitching our ideas, right? So yeah, build the technology. We have 6 months to demonstrate some pilots or a prototype, help to convert that into pilots.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have to get back to these investors who want to talk to this Finnish so that they can co-lead. Meeting one tomorrow at 10, and then finish my PhD thesis. That's kind of at halt right now. By January, I hope to defend, and then the next 5 months would be busy with the spin-out process.
All right, wonderful. But thank you, Barun, and thank you, Aashish, for being here again, sharing what you're building, and especially everyone watching. I mean, Slush, man, it's a festival, and there's so much opportunities. Whoever has been here, they understand the magnitude of it in terms of ecosystem players, investors, startups, founders, the amount of let's say inspiration that you can get listening to other founders. I mean, you can't explain it. It's absolutely next level. So anyone upcoming, especially Modoban Sansugi, especially हाम्रो Nepali community, like especially if you are into startup, if you want a bit of additional spark, let's say motivation, definitely look at them first of all. And apart from that, of course, we have other founders, other international founders and the builders who are building generational companies. So come to Slush, whether it's a volunteer or a startup or ecosystem player, whatever it is, but be out there. There's so much opportunities for everyone to grab.
Absolutely, yes.
It's the access and exposure.
Exactly, exactly. Cool. Thanks so much for watching. This is the live sort of like a Slush session, and then I'll get back to
Also,
you
एउटा
guys.
सानो चाहिँ add on गर्न
For
चाहेँ
sure,
हैन,
sure, please,
because
Barun.
we will have a lot of, I think, young Nepalese population watching this, in maybe living in Finland or who is planning to move here. So even you're a solo founder, you might have just ideas. Doesn't matter what stage you are in. I think it's always good to come and talk to people and be present in environment like this, because it kind of inspires you as well. So, and inspiration can come from any
Exactly.
end, actually. And so definitely it's difficult to make a first move, but once you make a move, you will see the change that brings in you.
Yeah, and I can also add on that one. We may not have Nepali of Nepali community. We may not have hopefully we'll have very soon, but we don't have a very big sort of like a multi-million kind of a euro kind of like a company or startup at least as of now, and hopefully we're gonna have it very soon. तर कस्तो भने we may not be able to provide initial angel funding, or let's say be part of the seed funding round, whatever it is, in financially, for example, but we are always here to help in terms
Yeah.
of हुन्छ नि, how to pitch, for example, your startup, or how to make the pitch deck ready, or how to make investor ready, or let's say how to go to market kind of a strategy and those kind of things. So at least this could, like you say, at least we are here to help you out.
Yeah,
And if
absolutely.
you keep if you have some ideas, if you want to spar, at least we are around here. And then reach out to us. Always happy to help. At the end of the day, अब हामीले जुन mistake गर्यो नि, you might not have to go through the same process. होइन?
Yeah.
Instead of 5 mistakes, probably you'll at least get rid of 2. So that is something we really have to
Yes,
do. And I think
yes.
slowly, especially in Helsinki, especially in Finland, especially in Helsinki, I would say, or this metropolitan area, we have upcoming founders, and then
Yep.
people are really. We just had a talk with 4 amazing volunteers. I mean, people are trying to make it happen. It's just a matter of time. So अहिले धेरै फाउन्डर नहोला र नेपाली फाउन्डरहरू, तर I'm sure in the next 2 or 3 years there's going to be a lot of founders working on so many different areas, from software
tech-
side,
deep
deep
tech
tech
to software, yeah,
side,
hardware.
from hardware, from in terms of F&B, whatever it is. There's going to be for sure a lot of different verticals that we'll be looking in, and I would be very much looking forward to kind of like recording the journey and then sharing that with you guys later on. But once again, thanks so much, guys,
Thank you so
and
much.
then have a great slush.
Thank
You
you very
too.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.